Welcome to Coffee Commerce. My name is Sean Remit, and I'm the grandson of a coffee farmer from Guyana, South America. On Coffee Commerce, we don't only just talk about the stories behind coffee as they relate to business, but the stories behind coffee as they relate to community, ideas, and culture. We've been talking about London and England and how coffee houses became very popular there. And we're now into the 1700s. And by the time the 1700s come around, there are as many as, some have said, 8,000 coffee houses in England. That might be an exaggerated number, but there were a lot of coffee houses. Something started to happen though in the coffee houses within England. It became more about specializing in certain types of patrons that would come. We talked about the Buttons Coffee House in our last episode. For some coffee houses, it was a place for writers to come and exchange their stories, their ideas. Others, it was in a banking area, in the banking centers of London, and the bankers would come to those coffee houses. Seafarer merchants would come to others. There was a Latin coffee house. Hogarth's father set it up in Clerkenwell. And to be in this coffee house, to enjoy your coffee in this Latin coffee house, you had to speak only Latin. When you're greeted in this Latin coffee house, you were asked, "Quid novi?" which in Latin is, "What news have you?" And you would have to recite the news in Latin to be there. We talked about the first coffee house being a coffee shack. There's also floating coffee houses on the Thames. Interestingly enough, in the 1700s, the Thames River was frozen over. They had a mini ice age there. And coffee houses, coffee tents were set up on the frozen Thames River. And people would come onto the river, enjoy their favorite cup of java. In Chelsea, there was the Don Saltero's Coffee House, which was a coffee house with a museum of monsters, as they call it, with snakes, large snakes, crocodiles, different things. And there was a place to go to see these monsters, or this reptile type of a museum. Sir Isaac Newton was a frequent patron of this coffee house. There was Grecian coffee houses where scientific debates would happen. In fact, there was someone that came, it was said that was someone that came with a dolphin, and he dissected the dolphin on one of the coffee house tables just to discuss from a scientific point of view the theories behind these dolphins. So clearly the coffee houses of that day started to have their own cultures. They had their own unique identities to them, and everyone was going to be a little different than the other one. And in so doing, we get the term penny universities, and that we're going to talk about over another cup of coffee. Thank you.